With all the hype for the AMFLOW, I wanted to do my own non-sponsored, non-funded review between this bike and Forbidden Druid CorE. These bikes have a lot of similarities on paper, but very different strengths and weaknesses on the trail. Both have the same motor, the battery, same suspension travel. Seat tube angle is nearly identical, and the AMFLOW's head tube angle is only 0.5 degrees steeper. But they also have major differences that are felt on the trail. First off is weight. While on paper it's only about 5 pounds, it feels a lot more. A 2+ mile comparison climb had the AMFLOW rocket up the trail felt like a different tune along with a lighter weight. The AMFLOW is noticeably faster in both feeling and time, with a 30-second lead over the Forbidden. To get this weight, the AMFLOW has carbon rims, more trail-focused tires, lighter suspension, and a frame. These lighter options really tell you the purpose of the bike, especially with the suspension. A Fox 36 and Flodax versus the RockShox Zeb and Vivid Air. More on this in the comparison. Also, very noticeable is the stack. 662 millimeters on the Forbidden, the AMFLOW is only 628. The Forbidden also runs a lot longer dropper due to the seat tube height, and the chainstay changes by the size versus one size for all in the AMFLOW. So with this, let's see how they ride on a very leafy day. Alright, leafy day, let's start it on the easiest down trail they have here. Woo! It's really not a fair assessment to do a timed lapse with all these leaves down. But all of the light components on this bike does jump well. It is very nimble. Alright, so back to the easiest trail here. Probably closer to what most people will find. It is leafy. The heavier duty suspension and high pivot is just making quick work anytime it gets into the tech. I really like these brakes better. The Mavens can shut things down. It feels better than the McGurrs. Alright, so let's really test the difference here between these spikes on Gambler.
Jeez. So, yeah, I could probably dial the suspension in a little better. But man, it is hard to believe that the 36 used to be the premier enduro fork. All right, so let's see if this heavy-duty suspension and high link does a better job. And I can tell you, it does. Oh yeah.
Key here is to buy the right bike for what you ride and how you ride. These bikes are best suited for different people and they're not cheap. That's really the point I want to get across with when I looked at both of these bikes to do kind of a comparison and throw it up here. I understand that you may ride a single speed hardtail in the Whistler bike park, but man, that's not for everybody. In my opinion, the AMFLOW is best suited for mellower tech and flow trails. It's lightweight, but also make a good jump bike for those type of jump flow lines. But once you get into the really rough boulder rock gardens, or if you're closer or over the 200-pound mark, the AMFLOW is going to reach its limit faster. Diving into steep rock sections, I would be much less confident with the Fox 36 in that lower stack. The bike worked, but it was just not as good as the Forbidden. On the climbs and flow, the AMFLOW was a rocket. It felt better and was easier to move around. But the Forbidden felt like it could be pushed further into the all-mountain category. The Zeb and the Vivid Air Shock was just excellent. I'm not saying the AMFLOW is a bad bike. It just performs better in its element as a trail bike or with a lighter rider. That said, the Forbidden is not a plush and plow enduro rig. It is not something that I would take on a UCI Enduro World Series. I was lucky enough to have the ability to ride both the bikes prior to my purchase. I chose the Forbidden simply because its ability to provide more confidence in the steep tech where I live, while still giving me that DJI motor experience. And while it's not the best bike for everyone or everywhere, it's the bike that I would grab for a full day of riding, maybe not racing. That's my 2 cents. Buy the best bike. Don't waste your money. Now I'm out of here.